All you got is time, because you're just waiting on Elijah to come back. Stop being so hasty. Sit down. If you are allowed to by the Most Holy. People want to know where to start at watching videos. I mean, all the videos are uniquely different. They all have a message, or they tell a story about something you've been lied to about. So, but you can go all the way back to the very first video if you want to. Just go to the videos and click on it and see the list and start at the bottom. But it doesn't matter where you start, because everything here at LieToMeNoMore.org is a message of learning about the scriptures of the Most High God, the Old Testament, His writings, His books. This is not a place for you to come and teach. This is not a place for you to come and tell everybody what you think and your opinion. And you can stop yelling about, they deleted my comment. Why won't they talk to me? This is not what this is. This is a place where Hebrew Israelites who are fed up with the lies and the deceit of this world and the non-understanding of the so-called prophets that go out in the name of the Lord, that do not know what they're teaching. They're looking for a place of peace and rest and understanding. They're tired of running. They're tired of going from here and there and everywhere. So we tell you, take your time. Watch as many videos as you can. I guarantee you, somewhere in one of the videos, a question you have asked shall be answered. So if you don't hear from us, don't get upset and all antsy and all. Because usually the people that don't hear from us are people who are saying foolishness. We don't deal with foolishness here. We don't have time for it. We want to thank you for tuning in this evening on this Wednesday night service. And hopefully you have an understanding that you can wash your mind out of this, anything to do with Jesus. But Jesus Himself told you He's nothing. God Himself indicated that I will take nothing that has been bruised. You can't sacrifice anything, man, male, animal, whatever. Ain't nothing coming to me bruised up and cut up and beat up. My altar is holy. My altar only takes perfect things. And they can only be put up by a priest of the Most High God. And y'all do know there were Roman soldiers that put Him up. So, again, I ask you to come in and tune in this Sabbath to hear an awesome word from your watchman. He has a blessing for you, Israel. He's going to give you some knowledge that you have never heard before. So, again, I say to you, this is VCE Smith. I am the rib of the watchman, and I thank you for tuning in this evening. Shalom.
Hey, what's up, everybody? SK Beats here, coming out of the Bay Area. Stopping by to let you know you can get some fire beats. Leases starting at $10. Exclusives starting at $100. If you're ready to make some hits, hit me up at bayareaskbeats.blogspot.com or facebook.com/bayareaskbeats. You're rocking with Bigfoot Radio. Yaramin!
All praises to the Most High God of Israel. It is a blessing to be before you this evening. My name is VCE Smith, and I am the rib of the watchman. And tonight, Israel, as you know, I'm going to be before you too long, if I can help it. But tonight, we're going to look at a few things. I was talking with the Father, and you got a teaching going on right now by the watchman, and just to give you some clarity of words, because I think some people are getting confused by what these words mean. Even the simplest of words we don't have a clear understanding of, because see, this is hell, and in hell a lot of things have been either turned upside down, because that's what Lucifer said they did. They turned things upside down, and or either they're just construed to a way that it makes sense in hell, because that's what you've been taught in this Egypt, but it is not the meaning that the Bible is giving you. It's not the actual meaning of what is being said. So we know that he's doing a teaching on the Gentiles, and you have to understand now, you're going to find out that these things are not people. He'll get into that, but I want to bring out some simple words that confuse you as you read along with the watchman, and you don't quite, I hate to say don't get it, but you really don't quite understand what's transpiring in the teaching. So let's look at the first verse that God talks about in Genesis. And we'll go to Genesis 10, and we're going to look at verse 5. Now, it reads this way. The very, 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 very first word throws everybody off in this teaching of this verse, because they think they know what this word means. And then we're going to get down a little further when we get into Judges, and they're going to show you another word that you think you know what it means. So let's go ahead and read this, and then we'll go into some definitions. It says, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. Now, for most of us, that was cut and dry, plain and simple. There should be no reason for anybody to be confused about what was just said, right? Everybody thinks they know exactly what that verse is talking about, because in our world, and the way we've been taught and the things that we understand and know, it's simple. It's simple. He says, by these were. So let's look at by first before we jump to conclusions on what we think we know. So the word by means near to or next to. A home is by a lake. Okay. Second definition. Let's see. It says over the surface of, through the median of, along, or using as a route. The route somewhere. If you're taking a trip and you want to, what route should we take? What route should we go on? Okay. Let's say it's to and beyond the vicinity of, meaning past. So by means something that is alongside of, near, close to. Let's say, let's look at it like this: not later than, but at or before. I usually finish my work by 5 o'clock. So that means it can be 4:45, 4:48. It could also be 4:59, because by means in the vicinity, around. So when you read a verse, when you're reading this verse in Genesis, it should read to you somewhere around these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands. Because by means close around. Could be a mile in a distance or 2 miles, but close by the vicinity of. So by these were the isles of the Gentile. Not talking about how y'all learned it in Egypt. Here you go. Girl, Busha's son is by Nikki. Well, if Busha's son is by Nikki, that means Nikki, somewhere in the vicinity around where Nikki's at, you'll find Busha's son. Yeah, no less than a mile, maybe, or close around. But if you speak it in natural terms, when you're talking about what you're trying to say, you say, her son's father's name is. Because saying someone is by someone is not clarity in how you use that word. Alright? So, we know by means in a vicinity, close around, nearby. So when he was reading to you something dealing with the Gentiles, and he says, by these were, meaning these were around about by the Gentiles? Because I think you're confused on that. Because I know you are, because the Father said you were. So let's go to Judges. We could have just used. We could have used that verse. We don't even have to go to Judges, but let's use Judges. The reason why I want to use Judges is because of the wording in Judges, because I think that helps you, even confuses you more. So let's go to Judges 4:2. And the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan. Now, the reason why this of is different than the of we're going to get down here by the Gentiles is because you are speaking about a person. And when you are speaking about a person and you know of is being used, you use their name, that individual's name. Because we already know that he is the king of Canaan. All right. The captain of whose host was Syria, which dwelt in Heroth of the Gentiles. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. It's not tricky, but it's because of the way your perception is of words and how you've been taught in this hell to see things. So when you read certain things, you think you automatically got it. I got it. All right, so let's look at this word of. Used to indicate distance or direction from, separation. All right. Within a mile of the church, of course they use church, south of Oklahoma, to be robbed of one's money. All right. Now, also, let's go on down and get a few more different understandings. Used to indicate derivation or whatever it is, the origin, in other words, the origin of something, where it says a man of good family, the play of Shakespeare, a piece of candy. So now you're looking at a different understanding of the word of. So we know in this understanding, the word of is being used to tell you where these people are. So let's look at this. And the Lord sold them into the land of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Syria, which dwelt in Heroth of the Gentiles. Meaning, Heroth is around the area close by or near the Gentiles' land. Not that Heroth is a Gentile. No. He was dwelt in Heroth, the place Heroth of the Gentiles. So this is an area that's within distance, very, 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 very close to the Gentiles, in that vicinity, so that you get an understanding. Because when you read these things about the Gentiles, you place the Gentiles in those scenarios. The Gentiles are not in those. God does not make mention of the Gentiles in that manner, but he does tell you that everything went on around where the Gentiles were. So I just wanted to give you that little bit of information, because a lot of times when you read, you do not get a thorough understanding, and you'll take meanings of words, and when you use the word by, you always think they're talking about Pookie Daddy, who Pookie Baby Daddy is, or who somebody is by. That's not what the word means. That's not what the word's context is in these teachings that are being taught about the Gentiles. So I hope that, I'm not sure that everybody can quite grasp it, but that's the understanding that helps you separate the difference between when someone's talking about being around the Gentile area but not including the Gentiles. They have to say that, because if you were doing something, and let's say you lived in I don't even know a lot of places, but let's take us a small town, Maryville. You would say, let's say Maryville of Kentucky. Because Maryville, let's say, is a small place close to Kentucky, but not quite in Kentucky. How's that? Okay. Anyway, let's move on. So tonight's teaching, we're going to look at some things I've been asking the Father to help me with, because I mean, I have an understanding, but a lot of people don't quite